Hi there, welcome back. It is 7:41 here on this Thursday morning. So, as we get back to eating in restaurants and live sporting events are happening, right? And even just, bigger get-togethers with friends and family, we're sort of returning to normal life, but it can be triggering for some people post-pandemic. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about here. So today we have our expert and local therapist, Joshua Magallanes, joining us to talk more about re-entry anxiety and how we prepare ourselves to go back out into the world and address those feelings of fear or nervousness. Joshua, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, good morning, Liz. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with this re-entry anxiety. This is a new term. Where is this coming from?
Well, it's coming from worry, right? Folks who are able to put the worry aside based on either historical context, right? If we think about 2020 and how folks navigated the pandemic and isolation, some did it well and some didn't, right? So some of us were following the protocol and others just weren't navigating that way. And sometimes people in our family and in our friend groups. And so now we're having to make sense of all that. And it's raising some stress and anxiety for folks.
So when we talk about stress and anxiety, sometimes I don't know about our viewers, but sometimes when I feel that fear and anxiety, I don't know how to squash it once it's there. So we've got to get back out in the world. So how do we deal with these feelings?
Right. Well, we've got to get back out into the world, but we've got to do it with ease and in a way that makes sense to us individually, right? And independently of those around us. And so if somebody says, "Oh, come on, just the peer pressure example, if you will, oh, let's just go to dinner. There's just going to be 10 of us there, and most of us are vaccinated or whatnot, right?" Already, immediately, folks, depending on where they sit, are already starting to feel some anxiety, and the stress is starting to pump because they've not been given an opportunity to hear the information ahead of time, and so in the moment, they're having to make a decision. And that causes our stress to increase. And when our stress is increased, the anxiety, all of the things come into play, and then we pull back, and the cycle begins. Depression comes in, et cetera, et cetera.
It's interesting when you talk about the peer pressure, too, because I do feel like there's a discussion there somewhere about creating boundaries in this time.
Most definitely. And I would say creating boundaries that are healthy for us, right? And also them. When I talk to couples, I talk about creating boundaries that are healthy for both myself and my partner, right? Because I want to be able to take and also receive information in both ways. I like to think of it as a cell membrane, right? We let good information out or good things out, and also let those things that are going to help or give me good, let them in as well. And so boundaries act both ways. And so it may look something like, hey guys, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm not quite there yet, but let's check over the weekend when there's a smaller group or something like that.
When we talk about our friend groups, let's all admit, we have not seen a lot of friends, a lot of family over the past year. Meanwhile, we've also gone through this incredibly life-changing experience for all of us. It's been traumatic at some points. So what happens when we all see each other again and maybe we're not the same people we all used to be? How do we reconcile that and hopefully repair our relationships? Can we repair those relationships?
There's going to be this introduction process, right? Initially, where folks are starting to step back into socialization. So a regrouping of, right? Our entire nation is going to have to learn how to be social again with one another. And, what I've been talking a lot with my clients in that regard is, how do we just even have basic communication again? Within the pandemic, which is still in, but when we were at home in quarantine and in isolation, many of us had to use different forms of communication. We were calling folks, we were using FaceTime. So we were able to put a screen between us and the other person, right? And so psychologically, that allows us to say much more than we would in person. Now, when we go back into person, it's going to be like starting kindergarten all over again, right? We're going to have to figure out like, okay, well, what are good social cues? How do we treat one another in public? Do I get to say things unfiltered or not, right? And so it is this regrouping of all of us and trying to figure out what that will look like. As an extrovert, that's, I think I claim that I'm a pretty good extrovert. However, what I've learned is in the past year, I've really taken on my introverted side, which has been awesome. It's helped me reflect. It's helped me pay attention to relationships that are important to me and which ones maybe I can kind of put on a second tier, right? Which is okay and that's healthy. Whereas our introverts in this moment right now, they're like, we're through because our safe space that is at home or in with just our partners at home has been overtaken, it's been overused. And so they're itching towards this idea of wanting to get out, but not quite knowing how to do it yet.
Yeah, yeah. And as an introvert, I feel like I am very introverted, and so I hear what you're saying, and I do feel some of that, and I think a lot of our viewers do as well. Joshua, thank you so much. We love having you here. You're always a wealth of information, and you can also visit Joshua on his website, joshuatherapy.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. You all have a good morning.
You too.